来日したベンバーランダー氏、初日はカルチャーショックを受けたり、ラーメンを食べたり、日本文化の刺激を受けて満喫しているようです。来日初日の様子を語ってくれました。
What's up, everybody? Welcome into an episode of Flippin' Bats live from Japan. I am here at the beautiful Yokohama Stadium where tonight the Bay Stars are taking on the Hiroshima Carp. I started working here at Fox Sports over a year and a half ago, and immediately it became huge for me that I really like Shohei Ohtani, and I really love what he was doing for the game of baseball. So, next thing you know, I have a This Week in Shohei Ohtani news segment. On top of that, I get a big Japanese following because they want to see me supporting their guy. 1 year later, the biggest vision I've had has come to life. I'm sitting here doing this episode from a baseball stadium in Japan. Blown away by the support from the Japanese culture throughout this whole process, and from start, right now, this is my first day here in Japan to finish, and I'm going to be here over a week. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm going to get into everything. You guys are going to come along with me, but it all started today. I had a flight from Los Angeles to Tokyo that left at 1 a.m. Thursday from Los Angeles. The flight is like 12 hours long. I ended up landing in Tokyo at 4 a.m. Friday, so crossing the date line gets crazy, but that flight was really cool for a couple of reasons. First off, I really tried to get my body acclimated to the Japan time so that the jet lag wouldn't be crazy, but guess what? I can't sleep on planes, so that didn't go very well. I got about an hour of sleep tops, but what it really allowed me to do is be on my social media and check my DMs, and this is where I really became blown away, and this is why it's really cool to be here and to do this. The support, the DMs of people excited for me coming, wanting to meet up. I spent probably 2 or 3 hours answering direct messages from everybody, and this is really cool. So the flight ends up happening. I don't get a ton of sleep. We finally land in Tokyo. It's 4:30 in the morning. We get off. We make it. We have to go through quite the experience once we get here. So a really cool part of all this, by the way, is tourists aren't allowed to Japan right now. So to be able to do this is something really special, and like I said, I want to bring everybody along this journey with me, and what I experience, we're all going to experience together. And the first thing I experienced was the airport after I got off the flight. One, you have to go through this COVID protocol, which we had to walk legitimately like 2 miles to get to, and then guess what? Had to walk 2 miles right back to where we came from to go to customs. Customs is always a situation that anxiety is a little bit high for, even though we have nothing to hide. Or did we? We had a producer on hand that almost ruined this whole project. Tried to smuggle in some beef jerky. Almost ruined it all. Got pulled aside, the beef jerky got thrown out or eaten by somebody at customs. We don't know, but we know we couldn't bring it, even though he tried to do it. We end up getting through customs just fine. Didn't take too long. We get here, go straight to the hotel basically from the airport, and it kind of all hits you in that moment. It kind of all hits you that, one, you're not home anymore, and you're not somewhere that feels anything like home. I've had the benefit of traveling a lot in my life, to a lot of different countries, been to Europe, been to a lot of places there, but you know what? You know what's different there? It's not as much of a culture shock. What I experienced today was quite the culture shock, and it was awesome. So let me explain that a little bit. I get off the plane in wherever it may be, Ireland or Amsterdam, other places I've been in my life. One, maybe they're speaking a different language, but they all use letters, and I know letters pretty well, and I can kind of put some together and see what words are what, and if they kind of make sense in English that I know. And you know what? The majority of people in European countries speak English, so it's not that crazy. I get off the plane here, guess what? The majority of people don't speak English. There's a combination of Japanese and Chinese characters that I don't know how to read yet. I'm in the process of it, Duolingo, trying to learn Japanese, but it's quite the culture shock, and that becomes immediately apparent. And that makes me think immediately of Shohei Ohtani. At a very young age, in his young 20s, he comes to the United States and experiences the same culture shock that I experienced today. In a country he's not familiar with, he can't read anything, he can't speak to anybody. And I'm fortunate enough here to have a translator, Masa, who's been an absolute legend with all of this. I don't know what I'd do without him. I don't know what Shohei would have done without Ipe. So the culture shock here is real. So naturally what I did is I got to the hotel and I immediately went to get ramen. And I am proud to admit that I am doing this show at Yokohama Stadium in Yokohama covered in ramen juice. Because have you really experienced ramen in Japan if you didn't get juice all over your pants? My answer would be no. And I certainly did, and it was absolutely incredible. I'm not kidding you. Hands down, immediately became the best ramen that I have ever had. Ever. Easily. Then we get on the train to come here. It was about a 30-minute train ride to get here. And man, everything I'm experiencing is just truly incredible. So,
早速日本を楽しめているようでよかったです。飛行機で眠れず SNS と DM をチェックして、そのファンからサポートを受け感謝していた話、ビーフジャーキーを持ち込もうとした話、カルチャーショックを受けながらすぐにラーメンを食べに行き、日本のラーメンを絶賛していた話など楽しい話題が尽きないですね。また、言葉が通じない国へ来たことで大谷翔平選手がメジャーに渡った時の言葉の苦労も身をもって感じてくれたようです。一平ちゃんの名前も出て感激しました。また一歩大谷選手に近づけましたね。引き続き日本を楽しんでください。